Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Today is Friday, and on Friday I like to give out tips and tricks on various topics all related to weight loss surgery. So this week's topic is going to be about traveling, okay? So this is going to be a good one. I just had a little short weekend trip, from Saturday to Wednesday recently, and this was my first trip after having surgery. So I think that it went really well, and I'm going to share some tips that I picked up. So let's just jump right into it and not make this one too long, okay? So tip number one. Tip number one is going to be like a theme. If you watch any other of my tips and tricks videos, you probably already know what my first tip is, and that's plan ahead, okay? Plan ahead if you can. Not all the times are we, traveling and it's well planned out. Sometimes we're just adventurous. Sometimes we got to go handle business and it's last minute. So do your best to plan ahead the best that you can, because this is going to be vital. Planning ahead is vital in all areas of life, I will say, but of having this surgery and going through this journey. But plan ahead. So why do I say plan ahead? So ask yourself these questions. Where are you going? Are you going to visit family? Will you be staying with family? Are you going out the country? Have you been to this place before? Are you going to a resort, like an all-inclusive resort? Are you going somewhere for business and you're going to be like eating out a lot? Like, where are you going? Why is that important? Because you can plan ahead. So let's just say you're going out of town, like I did. I just went out of town, my significant other and myself. We went to go visit one of his friends. So, we just stayed in a hotel, but we knew where we were going, the area, of course, where we were staying. So that was an opportunity just to kind of look around. I know what kind of food I like. I'm on soft foods right now, so I know what kind of food I can have. So this gave me the opportunity to look at restaurants, look at their menus, have some things in my back pocket. So if we went there or we didn't, I still had an idea of like, okay, cool. If we go to this type of restaurant, I can get this type of dish, I can get some salmon, or I can get some chicken, or, I had an idea of what I could get. Or if I wanted to be like super like rigid and plan an itinerary, I didn't. But if I wanted to do that, I could be like, cool, we're going to go to this restaurant on this day, or the hotel, they have these options, so I'm going to order this for breakfast, or whatever the case is. So that's why I say plan ahead. Are you staying with family or friends? Okay, cool. If you are and they're able to help you out, maybe just ask them like, hey, can you pick up this, that, and that? Because these are the kind of things I need. Can you give me some protein shakes or some kind of snacks? You can use a food delivery service, and, if your family or your friend, they're willing to help out, you can have stuff ordered to them, but you can have that stuff already there. So once you get there, that's one less thing to worry about, and you don't have to freak out or, beat yourself up for making a bad decision or whatever the case is. Like, that's one less thing that you have to account for because you've already put some work in ahead of time, okay? So for me, when I just traveled this past weekend, what I did is we stayed at a hotel. So we got in very early on Saturday. So once we kind of got in and, we had some fun, we did some sightseeing and such, I went to a local grocery store and I just bought some stuff. I brought some protein shakes, I brought some snacks, but I just bought different things that would last me over the next few days, so I would have it on hand, okay? So that's just an example. Like, just know where you're going to be at. Look at the area. If you are staying in a hotel or a new area, see like if there's grocery stores around. Like, if it's a grocery store you heard of, great. You might know like kind of what they carry. If you never heard of it, just go on their website, take a look, but basically get an idea of what your options are going to be, okay? Because that's just going to be important. Not to say that you have to be so structured. Even if you don't go to the grocery store, at least you know it's there and it's an option for you. If you don't go to the restaurants that you found, that's fine too, but you have that option opposed to being there and then you're like, oh, I don't know, what should I eat? What should I do? I didn't prepare. You got to stay prepared, always. And that is tip number one. Make sure you plan ahead. Now, let's roll into tip number two. tip number 2, if you didn't plan ahead, have a backup, okay? Tip number 2 is to stay flexible but stay smart, okay? So tip number 2 really kind of goes with tip number 1, honestly, but for me, this was just some stuff that I thought of at the last minute. Like, I didn't think about this beforehand, but when I got there, I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm in Colorado. Like, while I'm here, I'm definitely gonna go see some mountains, okay? And I'm gonna go hiking and I'm gonna be outside. The weather was beautiful. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be like sitting in this hotel. I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna be active, pretty much. I'm gonna be active, I'm gonna be out and about. So on Saturday when I got in, not only did I go to the grocery store, but I went to a big box store and I bought things that I would need. So I did pack my water bottle with me because I tried to stay as normal as possible, okay? While I was gone, it's like, yeah, I'm out of town, but I got a routine, okay? I'm still gonna live my life, but I'm gonna do what I need to do. So you might have seen in pictures, or I might have showed it before, but this is my water jug. So I was able to take 2 full-size suitcases. So I just emptied my water jug and I packed it with me. And that way I can keep things as normal. But there were some things that I did not account for. So things that I didn't account for is like, I like cold water. It's just random, but that's just my preference. If it's cold, I'm gonna drink more water. So I have my water bottle, but I'm gonna be out all day, And I did think to buy snacks, so I went and bought snacks, but I'm like, my snacks consist of chicken and cheese. Like, and again, I'm going to be out all day, so what I'm gonna do? Like, leave that in the car? No. So I went and I bought a real inexpensive little cooler bag, which was less than $10. Okay, it was I think advertised as like a 50 can insulated cooler bag. It's like a little tote bag, so it can fit 50 cans is what was advertised. So that just gives you a visual idea of like how big it was. So again, stayed at a hotel had not only an ice maker, but they had filtered water, which I didn't know right away. But they had filtered water, which was great because I could fill up my jug. So I did buy just a gallon of water from the store for the first day because I didn't see that they had filtered water. But when I seen that, I'm like, great, I can fill up my jug. But I utilized the ice maker at the hotel and I just put ice in my cooler. And every day we went out, I threw in some protein drinks. I threw in some Gatorade, which the Gatorade I planned ahead, and I was able to bring 6 bottles of Gatorade into my suitcase. I just triple tied them in some recyclable like grocery store bags that I keep, and I threw them in my suitcase, so I didn't have to buy any Gatorade when I got there because I already had those. But I packed some Gatorade, I packed my snacks in my cooler, and I also just put my jug inside my cooler so I can keep it nice and cold all day. So that's what I mean with like, be flexible, be adaptable, like have a plan, but know that things aren't always gonna go the way that you plan. But you have to not give up and just make things work for you. So that is what I call thinking on your toes. And that is my tip number 2, is just to be flexible. So tip number 3 is don't let your eyes fool you, okay? Don't let them do it, because they will. Y'all know the expression, I can't even think about it, but y'all know it. It's like your eyes are bigger than your stomach or something like that, You be seeing food like, ooh, I'm about to tear this food down, okay? Meanwhile, your stomach ain't nothing but this big, and your stomach like, no, girl, no, you not. No, you not, okay? So if you are like going out to eat, or, you're with friends or family, or, just whatever the case is, but you're in a new environment, especially if you're new after surgery. I'm on soft food. I'm 7 weeks in. So for me, like, I'm excited. This is my first time going out to eat. Going to a restaurant since I had surgery. Like, and honestly, like, it's still COVID anyway, so I ain't been going out to eat, period, anyway. But, like, this is my first time going out to eat. So I'm just like, I can eat food. Like, I want all of this food. Like, I want to order this and that and that. You know, and I'm going to eat all of this. I barely was eating anything, okay? So don't let your eyes fool you. Make sure you have like some type of strategy if that is something that could trip you up, like it tripped me up. So if you're eating out, maybe just as to have half of your food boxed, because you're probably not even gonna eat half depending on where you at. But as for, half of your food boxed, and that way they only bring half on the plate. Or can you just bring a box out when you bring my plate out and put it up and eat what you can eat? And also, like, if you're still, especially if you're new, if you're in your liquids or your puree phase, of course you need to definitely adapt. You definitely need to adapt. You need to, really follow those guidelines, know what they're going to offer, know what kind of like soups they have, or just know what they have that falls into those dietary restrictions. So for me, just being on soft foods, I have an idea of the things that I can eat. So for example, I had some wings at a restaurant. I had some like grilled wings that were really good, and I think it came with like 6, and I ate like 2. I might have ate 3 now. Okay, I might have ate 3. I ate 2 or 3, but like I'm still not used to the flow of eating, and I'm still eating too fast, y'all. I am working on it. It is not a great thing, but the struggle that I had, which is not a tip, this is just more like insight, okay? But that's okay. I'm gonna give it to y'all anyway. The struggle that I had was I was just eating too fast, and it wasn't like eating, put food in my mouth like quickly like that, but it was like I was eating, chewing, swallowing, getting a new piece, chewing, swallowing, and I haven't really found my rhythm of like using the wing example. Let me eat a wing and let me just chill out for a minute. Like let me see how that feels, because I was just eating and then all of a sudden like it would all catch up and I would just be in a little bit of pain. So if you are new and in that stage as I am, definitely make sure you account for that, especially being in like a social setting, like I said, because this is kind of like my first time going out and eating like in a restaurant. So I'm just used to like eating, and chatting, and I'm not like thinking about that. I'm just being mindless. Like I'm eating my food, it's good, but I'm not like, let me calm down. Okay, let me process this. Let me give it a few minutes before I pick up another wing. Like, let me just see how that feels. Am I full? If you don't know your full cues yet, like I don't, be mindful of that, because I just found like being out in a different environment, it was a little distracting to me. I will also say another thing is I really struggled with water. So the whole like drinking, waiting a little bit, eating, waiting, and then drinking, I still am not great at. I know that I need to do it. I know why I need to do it, and it makes sense to me, but I am just so used to eating and drinking at the same time, especially now that I'm on soft foods and I'm eating like warm foods. I really just like some ice cold water with my food. And I kept doing that at the restaurant. I kept picking up my glass and it caused discomfort. It was short-lived, thankfully, but just another little tip on the tip I will throw in there for you. Just food for thought, something to think about. So that's tip number 3. Don't let your eyes fool you, okay? Now, on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is reevaluate when it's convenient. I am not like the greatest planner, but I try to plan when I can. If planning works for you, that's great. Planning doesn't work for everybody. So if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. I still say to pre-plan though. Plan ahead, my tip number 1, I'm going to stick with that. I think that's good advice, y'all. But as far as reevaluating goes, if you're the kind of person that, is likely to get off track, it might be easy for you the morning, before your day starts while you're away, or even the night before, right before you go to bed. Maybe you just use like a tracking app, like a MyFitnessPal or a Beartastic or Lose It, like whatever you use. Even if you just put it like in like a notes app on your phone or something, or you jot it down in a journal, however you keep track of food, if you keep track of food, maybe you just plan out your day. So for like me, I was away, but I tried to stay normal, but I also tried to give myself, some balance and live my life. So using myself as an example, I told you guys I got a cooler, I got some protein shakes and some Gatorade, I got my jug. So for me, it's like, okay, cool. On Sunday, I knew we were going to be out. We were going to be driving 3 hours away to go to a mountain, to go hiking, to go do some sightseeing in some, cities that were nearby. So I'm like, cool, we're getting up 4 a.m. I'm going to get up. I'm going to start with some water. I'm going to drink some water. Then I'm going to drink some protein. I'm going to have a protein shake. Then I'm going to have, one of my snacks at some point in the day. This could either be before we stop and get, food, because I'm sure we'll stop and get food, or after, sometime after. But I just kind of loosely structured my day. Does that mean that I had to like start with water, then have my protein shake, then have my snack? No. But it gave me an ideal of like, okay, this is your normal routine. You wake up when you're at home, you drink your water, and then you have protein shake, and then you eat food or have a snack or whatever. So I just tried to stay in that routine, so it's like, cool. I know that for today, I'm going to have my protein shake. I'm going to have a Gatorade. I'm going to have this snack. And I know that's going to allow me, like, I'm still going to have this many calories that I need to meet for the day. And I know we're going to go out to dinner. And I'm not going to plan that because I'm not planning everything to the exact extent of what I'm going to have. But I'm loosely planning my day. So I don't look up and, it's 5 p.m. and all I've had was water, and a snack. So I'm just reevaluating when I need to. So, if I find that worked for me that day by getting up and planning, it's like, great. If it didn't that night, I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of let the day slip by me and, I only had 30 ounces of water, or, I only had like 40 grams of protein and I should have had at least 80. But just make sure you're reevaluating so you can stay the course. So Saturday was a travel day. Our flight left at 6 a.m. I had to be at the airport at 5 a.m. and I live about 30 minutes from the airport. So it was a long day, and I'll be honest, like, I had my jug and all of this, but it was in the suitcase, and then our suitcases didn't make it on the flight. So it was just kind of like all over the place. We got there and it was just kind of like, let's go, because it was still early. It was 7:30 a.m. when we arrived. So it was like I had a full day, and it wasn't until like 1 p.m. that we went to go get some brunch, and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't had any water since I left Texas. So that night, I just reevaluated, and I'm like, okay, this didn't work for me. So let me kind of loosely plan out my day. And that's what I mean by just reevaluate as you go. Don't be hard on yourself. And that leads me to my last tip. Tip number 5. Relax, don't stress, live your life, have fun, find balance, okay? This is your new lifestyle. It's not just some little fad or something that you're doing right now. Like, this is your new lifestyle. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. If you, just like when you're at home, like if you slip up and you have something that maybe you could have found a better decision of eating, it's not the end all be all. Just pick yourself up, get you some water, hydrate, get you some protein, and that next meal, just make a better decision. Don't stress too much. Plan as much as you can, just to have something in your back pocket. You know what I'm saying? Just to have a backup plan so you can really enjoy yourself. So I just really hope that these few tips that I have were helpful. I was so proud of myself Again, this was my first trip after surgery. I was able to eat out. I had some scrambled eggs and some bacon. I had some jerk wings. Y'all, I was tearing it up and tearing it down, okay? But I was also proud of myself because I went out for a walk. I went for hikes. I took my jug with me. I was drinking my Gatorade. I brought protein shakes, and I was drinking protein shakes, okay? So I am just super proud of myself. I found balance. And y'all, okay, I'm going to tell y'all something I did too, which is not the best decision, but I had a donut. I did. I had a donut, and it had Oreos on top of it. It was good, and no, I shouldn't have had it, but it was soft. It was a soft food, but those carbs and that sugar, I shouldn't have had it. I know I shouldn't have, but did I beat myself up? I didn't. It was really good. It was really good. I ate about half of that donut, and it was delicious, okay? So I'm proud of myself because I found balance. I worked out. I was active. I closed my rings on all the days. I got my water in. I got my protein in, and I had a good time. Like, my life did not stop. So I look forward to doing more traveling. But if you have tips and tricks for traveling, please let me know. If you're new to this or true to this and you've, had this surgery a long time ago, but you still have those tips that you stick to, please comment and let me know. Because I need to know all the tips. I think I did good, but I could probably do better. So please, not probably, I can do better. So please let me know what your tips are. Thank you so much for watching. If you found any of these tips helpful, please give your girl a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you have your notifications turned on because I post weekly every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And please follow me on social media. You can find me at Sleeved and Awesome, all one word. I am on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I will be back very soon with another video.